Hello and welcome to Italian Serie A match day 11. We have 4 teams in only 1 point. This is so interesting, the Serie A this season. And we have Inter Lazio and we have Derby della Mole. And it looks like no team is really reliable this season, Leo.
Hello, Edu. Yes, absolutely. To be honest, I mean, this is a great season for Serie A. Very tight everything at the top. Very tight everything also at the bottom. And again, we finish a show and we have another managerial sacking in Serie A. There could be another one coming, 𝗀𝗵𝗀𝗀, Stefano Pioli. The one I'm preferring is Patrick Vieira. He was sacked on Friday night in Italy, and Genoa played on Monday night. And what happened? Yes, they won the game. First one in the season.
Well, it looks like indeed Pioli is going to be sacked very soon. Now Fiorentina is bottom of the table, so we can understand why this is going to happen. And it looks like Raffaele Palladino could be the next manager. Yeah. We will talk a little bit later about Fiorentina. So guys, stay tuned. Don't forget to press the like, to subscribe. Leo, we are very close to the 40K subscribers, so we want to hit the target.
Come on, let's push.
Before 2026. So now let's go on with the show. Friday, we have Pisa, Cremonese, 2 newly promoted teams. Pisa still winless, but outside the relegation spots with 6 draws, actually 4 consecutive draws. For them, they drew with Torino, and it's something odd. Also, checking the stats of Pisa, Leo, they haven't scored at home yet. The poor crowd haven't seen a goal from the team in 5 games, and Cremonese, they are doing a great season, and now even Jamie Vardy is scoring beautiful goal he scored in the defeat against Juventus.
Yes, absolutely, Edwin. For Pisa fans, it seems like yes, they need to travel to see their team celebrating, scoring. Actually, whoever went to Turin, they saw their team scoring twice. Against Torino. They had it 2-0 in the first half, but they could not hold on to it. Stefano Moreo scoring a brace. His first brace since 2014 for the 32 years old attacking midfielder. He was crucial as well, Moreo, at the other end of the pitch when he tracked back and blocked 𝗀𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀 Vlasic to deny Torino a good chance to score. The good thing is that they finished Matchday 10 out of the relegation zone still, and they could get their first win of the season. We will see in the 6-pointer against Cremonese. You mentioned 4 consecutive draws for them, but Antonio Gilardino sees these 4 consecutive draws as another brick on the wall. For Pisa, must be painful for sure that they are the team for whom to score does not come easy at all. Even when they can score 2 in the side games, and actually they have scored them all of them away from home. One ended in defeat when they scored away. That was against Napoli, and they lost 3-2. Another game in which they scored twice, and they couldn't get the 3 points was in the draw with Milan in San Siro, and now with Torino. But at home, yes, they do have 1 goal. Yes, only just one against Atalanta. Yes, I was checking just that. That was the first weekend of the season, the 1-1 when they opened the Serie A. But yes, the last 3 matches at home have been 0-0 for them. So anyway, it doesn't change much what we have said. They don't see their supporters, they don't see their team celebrating often at home. And Cremonese, I think they did well, despite the defeat 2-1 against Juventus. Good to see Vardy scoring for the 2nd consecutive game, 2 goals now in Serie A for for him, but it was another game in which remained faithful to their identity. There were 20 minutes at the start of the second half in which they pushed really hard. If they had managed to equalize at that point, it would have been interesting to be able to see how it would have ended the game with Juventus. Away from home, Cremonese, they have collected 8 points. Not bad at all. 2 wins and 2 draws in 5 games. I don't agree with the bookies having Pisa as favorite, although by a small margin. At the very least, they should be closer, I would say. That's why my take for this Pisa Cremonese, Edu, is Cremonese double chance 1.65.
Actually, Leo, against Atalanta, they played away. They played in Bergamo, so the first.
I'm sorry then, Edu. So yes, absolutely. Yeah. Then I got my notes wrong. Sorry for that.
The first game at home was against Roma, lost 1-0, against Udinese 1-0, and then 3 goalless draws. So
there you go.
It's quite funny that they haven't scored at home. Anyway, still doing okay, I would say. Pisa, next game, Saturday, Como, Cagliari, Como doing better than okay. We warn our users that Como could get a result in Napoli, and they got an important draw, and at the lake they are unbeaten. Usually they take all 3 points, so they are super favorites, perhaps too much actually, to face Cagliari. Cagliari lost to Lazio. They have 9 points at the moment.
Yes, it was a very good game from Como de Diego Armando Maradona. They did everything that Fabregas prepared for them. They outplayed Napoli, especially in the first half. Last year, if you remember, they played as well confidently, and they lost at the Diego Armando Maradona. But this time, they were even better than last season. If it wasn't for 𝗀𝗵𝗄𝗏, we are talking something different here. Alvaro Morata's penalty in the first half was terribly taken. I know he needs a confidence that only a goal could provide, no matter how well the manager, in this case Fabregas, is telling everyone how good is he playing or how good he's helping the team. Morata, I know as a center forward, he wants to score. But at the same time, there are moments for that. It was a moment, I think, for 𝗀𝗵𝗄𝗏 or the captain 𝗀𝗶𝗄𝗏, who last season was taking penalties, to step up and take it. It's true that 𝗀𝗵𝗄𝗏 did not influence the game at all, didn't have like big flashes, and he was fading with the game as the game went on. But everyone watching, thought the same. I think that if he would have taken the penalty, he would have scored. Again, I would say about 𝗀𝗵𝗄𝗏, if he wants to be a top player, he will need what great players have. They want to decide games, and will make sure that their teammates know that, because as soon as the penalty was called, I haven't even seen 𝗀𝗵𝗄𝗏 approaching Morata or approaching whoever had the ball, asking for him to take it. But overall, Como played with great personality. They played vertically. They couldn't create more chances, yes, after the 65th, 70th minute. I think they looked tired about that point after the efforts of the first half. We haven't seen, anyway, many teams going to the Diego Armando Maradona and pressing them and attacking Napoli the way they have done it. And with Cagliari, Edu, yes, yesterday or Monday night with Lazio, it wasn't good. Just the first half, they were in contention. It's just 1 point away for them all season, and they are winless in the last 6 matches. My take here, Como to win combined with goals over 1.5. These two together, also 1.97.
Lecce Verona is the next one. This is a 6-pointer for the relegation. Lecce got a great result beating Fiorentina, probably pushing Pioli towards the edge, and Verona only 5 points. They were this close to get a result against Inter, but is one of the 3 teams still winless in Serie A.
Yes, so it was a massive win for Lecce in Firenze. They won it with authority. It was well deserved. Actually, their 1-0 win away. Have they suffered? Yes, of course. Fiorentina had their chances in the second half, and Falcone, the goalkeeper, was magnificent, probably Probably not. He was the MVP. Thiago Gabriel, the left center back, put his face to block a shot from 𝗀𝗍𝗀 𝘀, that even if he would have tried to block it with his legs, it would have been painful, let alone with the face. But I believe it shows the determination that they had to take the 3 points back to Puglia. They smelled the blood at the Artemio Franchi and went for it like sharks. They went into difficulties at both ends of the game, the first and the last 10 minutes. But in between, they managed to increase the pace, the intensity, and the pressure to take the match to 𝗀𝗍𝗀𝗀 last half. Medon Berisha scoring his second goal of the season. Edu, he won the ball with a fantastic tackle to start the counter-attack, and which he completed. He was as well probably alongside Falcone, another MVP of the game. Another Albanian midfielder like Ramadani, another one with a very good game. Berisha, it seems that Di Francesco is still trying to find his best position, if behind the striker, if at the left of the midfield. But now points so far, which is 1 point more than last season at this same stage. At home, they haven't won yet Lecce. Both wins have come on the road. And Verona, if they play with the concentration, determination, and the desire they showed in the second half with Inter on Sunday, they can think of taking something from their trip to Via del Mare. They were, of course, devastated to lose it on added time and with an own goal from Frese. They are still searching for the first win of the season. Away from home, they have scored only twice and conceded 10 times in 5 games, Verona. I don't see Lecce as a big favorite, although slightly favorite, yes, for this one. That's why I'm going the route of the Asian handicap minus 0.25 for Lecce. Favorites, yes, but not a huge favorite. I'm still going that route. Lecce Asian handicap minus 0.25, odds of 2.25. Lecce wins, you win your bet. If they draw, you lose half of your stake.
It looks like a low-scoring game, could be easily a draw or a goalless draw, this Lecce. Verona, and then we have Derby della Mole, so Derby in Torino, but this is a one-sided derby, probably the most one-sided derby in Western football, I would say. Imagine, in the last 8 years, we have the stats in Oddspedia, 11 wins for Juve, 5 draws, 0 wins. For Torino, we have to go back to find Torino winning this derby. And now we have a revitalized Juventus without Tudor. Spalletti won his first game in charge of Juve, playing also in the Champions League against Sporting. But this Torino arrives in a decent form this time, Leo, to the derby.
Actually, you need to go back so much that you need to roll the years to April 1995 to find the Torino win away against Juventus. Look, I'm not going to make a great interpretation of Spalletti's first game in charge of Juventus, because it's that only 90 minutes so far. And we are recording as well before they play Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League. There is a framework left by Tudor, but Spalletti have already moved from the rigidity of Tudor's system. It was just one game, and against Cremonese, not a top team, but there was some more dynamism, fluidity in the 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝘀. 𝗀𝗵cie was on paper behind the striker, but ended up playing more often as a left winger. Winston McKennie was given freedom to move from number 8 to number 10 position. Openda was continually moving from winger position to a more centralized center forward position alongside 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗀 for a double 9. This constant movement and fluidity caused difficulties for Cremonese. Probably that Openda looked more comfortable in one game with Spalletti than in 10 with Tudor. Could mean that Jonathan David is starting behind him in the picking order. The Canadian came on the game with just 5 minutes to go, and is one of the challenges faced by Spalletti, to get the best out of the ex-Lille player. Kenan Yildiz had a knock, did not feature, but Spalletti already compared the Turkish players to 𝗀𝗵𝗄𝗏, so it's a hint that he's going to count with Yildiz to start probably from the left wing, as with the Georgian in Napoli. A good news in Spalletti's debut was Filip Kostic. He rarely featured under Tudor, and he even scored. He was on loan in Fenerbahce, I remember last season, but we all know he's a good player if he has the correct confidence. It will be the first derby for Spalletti. Torino side you mentioned is arriving in a much better form than at the beginning of the season. They were 2-0 down in the first half against Pisa. They managed to go to the break already 2-2. 𝗀𝗵𝗄𝘀 Simeone and Che Adams in the score sheet. I do celebrate that Marco Baroni now does not think that should be one or the other, but both together. Gio Simeone and the Scottish forward. On the road, one win and 10 goals conceded in 5 matches for the Granata. The record, as I mentioned, and I will say it again, last time Torino won away against Juventus in the Derby della Mole, that was April 1995. I don't think, even if they're in a better form than at the beginning of the season, that Torino will break that record on Saturday. That's why my take is Juventus to win, combined with Juventus' first team to score these two together, odds of 2.2.
Juventus all the way, indeed, for this game. Then we have Parma Milan, with Milan bouncing back and beating Roma. Leao making the difference. Also Maignan, also Leao missed some clear chance. At the end, the hero was Maignan saving the penalty in front of Dybala. Remember, they were coming from draws against Pisa and Atalanta, and Parma lost to Bologna and to Roma in the last 2 games. It's only 1 win in this Serie A. We've seen Milan dropping points unexpectedly, Leo, but we should expect them to win and go to the break in healthy points.
I completely agree, Edu. That's what needs to be happening against Parma. They have done it against Lecce this season away, and I know they had like setbacks against Pisa, Cremonese, and that's why we all think, okay, why? I mean, what if after a very good win against Roma in San Siro, they have another setback facing Parma, where they cannot allow themselves to do that, especially before going into the international break. It was great to see Rafa Leao bursting forward down the flank. Was one of the best things of the game for Milan and for Max Allegri. That's the player we know. He was smiling a lot. His body language completely different to what we got used to with Leao last season. But of course, Mike Maignan was crucial, saving that penalty against Paulo Dybala with 2 or 3 minutes to finish. They could have doubled the lead, actually, Milan at the end of the first half, with when Youssouf Fofana fired wide, a great chance. I like the fact that Milan started the second half stronger also, because I was thinking, okay, they just scored before going into the break, so probably now they're going to sit deep, they're going to try to absorb pressure and play in the counter-attack, but no, they try to look for the second one, and Leao had that incredible chance you were mentioning, Edu, which he missed, or more than he missed, I would say, Mario Hermoso denied him with an amazing block on the goal line. Fofana not only missed that good chance in the first half, but he could have been easily been the one to use as a scapegoat if Milan was not taking the 3 points, because he committed the foul on Dybala, and then from that free kick, it was his arm in the wall that caused the penalty. So he owns Maignan big time. Again, with Parma, the type of game they need to win. This Milan, if they want to be real contenders for the top 4, or why not to fight for the title. Parma is getting in their waters, Edu. We focus on Fiorentina, Genoa, Verona, Pisa at the bottom, but they lost 3 and drew 2 of their last 5. With Bologna, they scored after just 12 seconds, but after two injuries and a red card, all this before the break, everything went downhill for Parma in the second half. Last season, Parma won 2-1 at the end of Tardini against Milan. Do I see that repeating again? No, that's what I really see. My take is goals over 2.5 in this one, odds of 2.1. But I will happily as well go for Rafa Leao to score or to assist anytime, odds of 1.83.
Indeed, I think Parma also will struggle and will be in the mix to get relegated as they were last season. Then we have Atalanta Sassuolo. Ivan Juric is in risk. Let's see what happens in the Champions League. But the first defeat in Serie A came in Udine. This was not the problem. The problem is that they've only won 2 games. They are 11th in the standings. And now they are hosting Sassuolo. Perhaps he arrives, Leo, to the game, and then if things are not right in the Champions League in this game against Sassuolo, they look for a replacement.
It could easily be happening, Edu. Again, we are recording before Atalanta's match in the Champions League, but you open La Gazzetta dello Sport on Monday, and they are giving Juric 2 games, which is basically the one against Olympique Marseille in the Champions League, and then what happens on Sunday against Sassuolo. The defeat with Udinese was one of the worst Atalanta we have seen in the last 5-7 years, maybe. Lifeless, no spirit, nothing. So what could happen in the next 2 games could determine the future of Juric. You mentioned Raffaele Palladino at the beginning of our show, and he's one of the names who's there apparently to be taken over if it's no more for Juric. Why Raffaele Palladino? Well, he was one of the people that Atalanta interviewed during the summer, the ex-Fiorentina manager. In the end, they decided that Juric surprisingly was a better choice. Others are saying as well, Edu, that 𝗀𝗵𝗄𝗏, who is still getting paid by Juventus, could get a return to Serie A with La Dea. The decline in the playing style is noticeable to everyone in Bergamo. With Udinese, they got 60% possession, but had no shots on target. Then you have Juric reluctance to play Lookman alongside Sulemana, or playing the Rune as a center-back when he's a midfielder all his life. Nikola Kristovic, one of the summer signings, not given the needed confidence to settle. He proved in Lecce he can score. We are 1/3 into the season, and Atalanta haven't faced yet Napoli, Roma, and Inter. So things can get worse before they get any better. Sassuolo, they're at the back of defeat at home with Genoa, which was winless before Monday night. Their first half wasn't good enough for Sassuolo, but in the second half, they equalized quickly. They pushed for the second one. Domenico Berardi scoring his 150 goal with Sassuolo, a truly legend. They had good chances actually to make it 2-1. But after the 75th minute, for me, they look like content with the draw, and they end up losing it in the last ball of the game. Away from home, they count 2 wins and 1 draw in 5 games. Not bad at all from Sassuolo. The X2 odds are huge, 6.7 for Sassuolo to win. I'm not going to go X2, but I'm going to go, excuse me, Sassuolo double chance. Sassuolo double chance, 2.7 against this Atalanta.
They don't like Ivan Juric. There is zero trust on him. Indeed, I mentioned, you are right, Palladino, but it's more likely Palladino to arrive to Bergamo and Paolo Vanoli to arrive to Fiorentina are the latest news. Bologna-Napoli is the next one. This is a great game. Actually, very tough match test for Napoli after the draw with Como. Also, Napoli were not too convincing in the last away game in Lecce, although they took all 3 points. And Bologna beat Parma, as you mentioned before, and so difficult to go to their stadium. Not sure if we should trust Napoli to take the points, although the odds are great. The bookies don't trust too much. Contest team is 2.6 for them to win.
Yes, yes. So it's going to be a difficult one, and I could see Bologna taking something. A draw could also be on the card. It's realistically on the card, and it's at 3.2, which is not bad at all. I don't see goals happening in abundance here. That's why goals under 2.5 as well is at 1.55. And this Bologna is having, again, another good season. Vincenzo Italiano doing as well a great job in here. Things look bleak for them after only 12 seconds. I mentioned before with Parma. But yeah, after a quarter of an hour, they could have even been 2-0 down. But with Parma down to 10 men, things change for them in the second half. Santi Castro scoring a brace. He already has 4 goals this season, half of what he managed in the entirety of last season. For Bologna, it's now 8 games in all competitions without defeat. They have Europa League at home on Thursday, but with Brann, a Norwegian team, which could probably give the opportunity for Italiano to rotate ahead of Sunday. The attacking line at the Ennio Tardini, that's the best they can get now, and I hope he's going to repeat it against Napoli. Edu. Orsolini on the right, Jonathan Rowe on the left, and Jens Odgaard behind Santi Castro. I really hope we're going to see that against Napoli. Conte was happy with his second half, or with Napoli's second half against Como. It's true that they finished the game better than Como, but it's also true that for 75 minutes they were outplayed, and once again it was 𝗀𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀 who saved them. Against Lecce, he saved the penalty against 𝗀𝗵𝗀𝗀 with the match still 0-0. Napoli then won it. With Como, he saved it against Morata. Before Bologna, yes, Napoli has a huge game, which is the Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League. They have added another injured player in Billy Gilmour. But with Como, 𝗀𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀 came on for the last 5 minutes. He will play more for sure on Wednesday and be ready for Bologna, because he is key for Napoli and Conte. And with 𝗀𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀 playing, this could give even more freedom to 𝗀𝗻𝗻𝗁 and McTominay to charge forward. Very tight encounter. A draw is on the card. Might take Bologna Asian handicap plus 0.25, odds of 1.75. They win, you win your bet. They draw, you win half of your stake.
Indeed, tough game for Napoli. They want to go to the November break as leaders. And then we have Genoa, Fiorentina. You mentioned both teams changing managers. For Genoa was a boost already. Getting rid of Patrick Vieira, first win of the season on Monday against Sassuolo, still in relegation spots. Ostigar scored a late goal in the game, and Pioli should be sacked by the time you watch this video. Lost to Lecce, to Milan, bottom of the table, winless, only 4 points, the worst Fiorentina in history, basically.
Yes, Edu, and look, on Saturday or Friday, they sacked the sporting director. It was a way before the game with Lecce probably to diffuse a little bit the situation, but they couldn't do it at all. I mean, the supporters were chanting for Pioli to be sacked. I mean, that's the reality, and that's the reality of the numbers. I mean, it's not just because fans woke up on Sunday morning before going to the stadium and thought, oh, yes, we want Stefano Pioli out. It's 4 points out of 30. I mean, there is not much to add to that for a team that finished 6th last season. It was very, very poor, or it is very poor, very, very poor what they're doing so far. They were awarded the penalty in the 84th minute, only to have it taken away by the VAR. 𝗀𝗻𝗀𝗀𝗀 Keane had some clear opportunities to score. After last great season, when he scored 19 goals only in Serie A, he has 2 this season, and his expected goals so far is of 5.68. So basically, the stats are telling us that he should have scored at least 3 more goals. Pioli could have done it with at least just 1 more from 𝗀𝗻𝗀𝗀𝗀. Roberto Piccoli, the young striker they brought from Cagliari for 25 million, is yet to score for La Viola. 4 draws and 6 defeats in 10 games is unacceptable for a return for a club that, again, finished sixth last season. When Pioli signed a 3-year deal during the summer, he said his ambition was to get the team back into the Champions League. Very far from that. And Genoa fired Patrick Vieira on Friday, 48 hours after they won the first game of the season against Sassuolo away. The one knocking the door to take charge of Genoa, Edu, is Daniele De Rossi. He had a trip organized to Buenos Aires for this weekend, or for this coming weekend, to attend Boca River in La Bombonera, but he had to cancel because he is the leading candidate. I would love to. Yeah. Yes. It would be great to see him back managing in the Serie A. You know, the funny thing, or the curious thing, is that the last game as Roma manager, before they made the mistake of sacking De Rossi to bring who? Ivan Juric. Yeah. His last game was against Genoa. It was a draw away in Genoa, where now could be Daniele De Rossi taking over in Genoa. I can't go for X1, X2 in here. I can see goals as well. The goals under 2.5 is my take. Goals under 2.5, odds of 1.53.
Well, and talking about Daniele De Rossi, I completely agree with you. It was a mistake sacking him. He was not that bad in Roma. Let's talk about Roma playing at home against Udinese. They were very disappointed about the defeat against Milan. The point would have been really positive, but Dybala missed the penalty. Still the same issues with the striker. They are not scoring enough. Only 10 goals scored this season, 5 goals conceded. So the under is always a good idea. At the Olimpico, they already lost twice in Serie A. And Udinese arriving with 15 points and doing a good season. I would say they are close to the European spots, and away from home already 2 wins in San Siro. Remember, they beat Inter and Pisa.
Yes, Edu, and they're in a good mini run, Udinese. 2 wins in the last 3 games for them. Nicolo Zaniolo being the start man, the third goal of the season for him, and third consecutive game scoring for the ex-Roma player. It was important for Udinese against Atalanta, not only the win, but that they also managed a clean sheet, just their second clean sheet of the season for them. And for Roma, Edu, I think the draw should have been a fair result in San Siro. It was cruel for them that Dybala not only missed the penalty with 2 minutes before the end of the 90 minutes, but also that he got injured in doing so. It was a deja vu to what happened to Dybala, if you remember, before the World Cup in Qatar, when he also got injured shooting a penalty, and a deja vu to what happened this season to Kevin De Bruyne against Inter a few weeks ago, taking a penalty and getting injured in the same time. The Giallorossi knew that a victory in San Siro would have moved them as the sole leaders of Serie A, but they are still joint second on 21 points with Milan and Inter, and it was the first away defeat of the season for them. I think the glass should be seen half full after Sunday anyway. We are seeing a team in the right path. They created chances, but yes, they cannot score, or they cannot score enough. The first half was good. They were not clinical in the finishing. Gasperini went with Dybala and Soule up front, although Soule was dropping often. And I know with the Moroccan player that came from Lens this summer, he's still one who hasn't gelled with the team. He was given a start, but he didn't grab his chance. And then the team missed, I would say, Lorenzo Pellegrini in that first half in San Siro. Something to work for Gasperini is that the team got caught in transition a few times, and one of those finished in Milan's goal. Of course, not everyone has a Rafa, but it shows it's a way of hurting this Roma. With Dybala injured, with Soule having a dry spell now, with Dovic never getting into the mood, with Ferguson injured, my doubts are who is going to score for Roma. That's why my take here, Edu, is Udinese Asian handicap +1, odds of 1.91.
And the other team of the capital going to Milano, Inter Lazio, is the last game. Inter recovered after the defeat in Naples. They beat Fiorentina and Verona. You mentioned how they struggle also against Verona, getting the own goal in the last minute, and Lazio 4 games without conceding, trying to climb in the standings. Do you remember what happened in the last Inter-Lazio?
Oh, no. No, you mean in the last Lazio playing in San Siro? No, what happened?
San Siro, Pedro scored a break.
Pedrito,
denying the
yes.
Scudetto for Inter and giving the Scudetto to Napoli.
It's true, Pedrito. Well, now Pedrito probably is gonna watch it from the bench. But again, well, on that game he came from the bench and he still decided the match. But this Inter is in a good form. Edu, 9 wins in the last 10 games in all competitions. They should have settled things with Verona much earlier after they went ahead with the beautiful goal from 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. Although I like more how 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 assisted him from a corner than the goal itself. Verona was not just an opportunity for 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, but also for Luis Enrique, Carlos Augusto, Boni, they all started. Marcus Thuram is close to return. He will probably make the bench in the Champions League, as we mentioned yesterday with Alan in our Champions League show. So everything looks in harmony for 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. I would like, 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 Varela to return to his best level. That will complete the momentum for Inter. And Lazio, Edu, they scored 2 beautiful goals on Monday night. Isaacsen, and many times I talk about him curling a shot, cutting inside from the right, and then Mattias Akanji with a great shot, top bins for him. Away from home is just 1 win for Lazio and 3 goals scored so far for them, and all of them came in the same game, in that 3-0 against Genoa. As much as Sarri is doing all right, dealing with many injuries and with the squad that is not at the level to compete for a Champions League spot, Inter should prevail here. Edu, might take Inter half-time, Inter full-time market, odds of 2.05.
Full trust then on Inter. Don't want to repeat the mistakes of last season with the draw against Lazio, costing them the Scudetto. Well, this is it. Before the break, remember who is going to top the table before another break. How many managers are going to get sacked this week? You cannot bet on that, but maybe soon. And Leo, remember that we can participate in our tipster competitions. We have now opened the November one, so it's your opportunity to win some cash money and participate absolutely for free, or also use rivals and create your own tipster competition. Which is your safe bet, Leo?
Como Cagliari goals over 1.5, odds of 1.29, Edu.
And the ACCA?
Como to win, combined with goals over 1.5, Juventus to win, Milan to win, these 3 together, odds of 5.03.
Okay, Leo, thank you. See you.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.